ولقد يسرنا القرآن للذكر فهل من مدكر
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Respected viewers at home, Alhamdulillah, today we'll continue our journey through the Qur'an program, starting with the 18 juz inshallah. Yesterday we concluded the 17 juz, and today we'll start with the 18 juz, the juz that has two surahs and one third of another surah. Surah Al-Mu'minun, Surah Al-Nur, and a little bit of Surah Al-Furqan. Surah Al-Mu'minun is very famous. We all know Surah Al-Mu'minun. It means the believers. And the reason is because in the surah, Allah Azza wa Jalla describes or the profile of who's a believer, who's a true believer. He lists some of the things. Who are they? So before we get into who are they, if you can draw a little example of a teacher and students. If a teacher in the beginning, the first day of school, the first day of the semester, professor, he says that these students will pass in my class, or these students will do well in my class. And just like the Prophet ﷺ, one time he said, كُلُّ أُمَّتِي يَدْخُلُونَ الْجَنَّةَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَبَى. All of my ummati will enter Jannah except the one who rejects or turns away or denies. قِيلَ وَمَنْ يَأْبَى يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. They said, who is going to deny and reject and turn away, Ya Rasulullah? The Prophet ﷺ said, مَنْ أَطَاعَنِي, whoever obeys me, فَقَدْ دَخَلَ الْجَنَّةِ, then he will enter Jannah. وَمَنْ عَصَانِي فَقَدْ أَبَى, and whoever disobeyed me, he has rejected me. Okay, so just like the Prophet ﷺ kind of laid out for us, these are the successful people. In the Qur'an, this is what Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying. So again, if a teacher in the beginning, the first day of school, he said that these students will be successful, then we would note down who those students are. We would write down the description or what the teacher wants from us. So the teacher says, whoever comes to class on time, whoever pays attention in class, whoever does their classwork, whoever does their assignments, and whoever does their homework, etc., they will pass my class. So Allah Azza wa Jalla says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. These believers are successful. And who are they? What is the attribute? What is the description? What is the sifat of the believers who will be successful and ultimately enter Jannah? The first thing is الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Those who are khushu', those who have submissiveness, those who have humility, those who are humble in their salah. So the first thing about a believer is a salah. The first thing that differentiates a believer from a non-believer is their salah. They don't pray 5 times a day, maybe once a week. But even if they pray every day, it's probably just before going to bed or before they leave the house in the morning. But believers, they make a schedule of their entire day around their salah. Salah is a pillar in their daily lives. And they will say, okay, I will pray my salah here at this time, and then after that I will meet that person. If that person says, can I meet you at this time? You say, I'll meet you after this salah. And you schedule your day around salah. It's a big part of your day, of your life. And we understand the importance of salah. The Prophet ﷺ, before he passed away, the things that he was saying was salah. As-salatu ma malakat imanukum. As-salatu ma malakat imanukum. Make sure to pray your salah and take care of those people who are under you, who are your servants and your maids, etc. On the day of judgment, the feet of a person will not move from its place until he answers his salah and the condition of his salah. Right? So salah, the first attribute of a believer. And notice how the first thing is salah, and the last thing on this list is also salah. On verse 9, Allah says, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَىٰ صَلَوَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ. That's the last thing on the list as well, right? So let's say you're a mother, she sends you to the supermarket, and she tells you, get me onions, get potatoes, get garlics, get eggplants, get onions. The last thing she says is get onions again. That means what? Don't forget onions. That's the first thing I told you, and is the last thing I'm telling you as well. Don't forget onions. So the first thing Allah says is salah. Right? Not only just salah, but they're khushu, they're khasha, they're submissive. in their salah. And the second thing, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ, those who turn away from any evil speech or anything that's futile, that's useless, that's laghu. Right? وَإِذَا مَرُّوا بِاللَّغْوِ مَرُّوا كِرَامًا. In Surah Al-Furqan, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, and that when they pass by laghu, useless things, مَرُّوا كِرَامًا, they pass by them with honor. Right? They don't pay attention to those things. Like you're passing by a bar or something, like you don't look into it, what time it opens, what time it closes, etc. You just keep walking. You mu'ridun, you turn away from that. Or if you're walking on the street and someone is trying to give you a flyer that has filth in it, you turn away from that. You don't even look at the person. And you turn away and you leave all those things that are not beneficial to you. The third thing on the list, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ, and those who observe their zakah, who give their zakah, all of it. They're very conscious of the 2.5% they have to give every year of their wealth, and they give that diligently, without any delay, without any hindrance, without trying to find any loopholes or tricks just to get some out. It is, you have to give, there's no way out of it, it's a must. Right? Those people who hoard, وَالَّذِينَ يَكْنِزُونَ الذَّهَبَ وَالْفِضَّةَ وَلَا يُنْفِقُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, those people who hold back their gold and silver and the money that they're supposed to give to the fuqara, then what will happen to those things? Allah will take those things, He will heat them up on the Day of Judgment. يَوْمَ يُحْمَى عَلَيْهَا فِي جَهَنَّمْ. Those things will be taken and they will be used to brand the people, will be hot, and they will be put on their ظُهُورِهِمْ, on their faces, عَلَى وُجُوهِهِمْ, and those things will be used to burn the faces of the people who hoarded zakah that belonged to other people. In the time of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, people came and said, oh, we don't have to give zakah anymore. This was only in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was so mad. He said, I will fight every single person, even if they prevent the zakah of the rope of a camel that they own and they're supposed to give zakah, that they don't give zakah. I will fight until my last breath. Zakah is until the Day of Judgment. You have to give zakah. And we're very concerned about our IRS taxes, right? If you don't give it, we know this guy's going to come after us, so we give it. So similarly, zakat. We don't have a zakat enforcement agency, but we should be doing it ourselves and have the fear of Allah Azza wa Jal. Usually most people do it in the month of Ramadan, so we should, if this is the time when we do it, then we should give our zakat on time as well. Alright. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ, and those who protect their private parts. Those who protect their private parts. The Prophet ﷺ has said in the hadith that whoever guarantees me what is between their lips and between their thighs, I will guarantee for them Jannah. It's very difficult to guard your tongue, right? To say what is right and not to stay silent when you don't have something good to say. Or even the words that come out of a person's mouth can hurt people more than arms and weapons and arrows. That can leave an impact on a person the rest of their lives. How you make them feel, and your private parts. That's also very important, that you safeguard and protect your private parts. Right? And there's this, especially the society and the times we live in, it's difficult, right? And the haram is available so easily that the marriage is like the last thing people have in their mind. Marriage will be after I get a career, after I get a stable job, after this, after that, after this. So, yeah, times are different, and we should give some consideration to that as well. But at the same time, if our iman, our faith, our habits, our character is at stake and is changing, and we're becoming a whole different person just because we cannot safeguard and protect our private parts, and we're still delaying marriage, then we should see what are we giving priority to, our deen or dunya, right? Our deen or dunya. And they say that a believer, he holds his deen as a crown on his head, and his dunya on his hand. So if something happens to the deen, to his crown, he puts the dunya down and he fixes his crown. Right? It's not the other way around. That I put my deen on my head as a crown and my dunya. The other way around. I put my dunya on my head and my deen on my hand. And if something happens to the dunya, I put the deen down and I fix the dunya. That shouldn't be the case. It should be the other way around. So those who protect their private parts. The only places where they can, take out their shahawat and their desires, illa ala azwajihim. The only place is their azwaj, their spouses. أو ما ملكت أيمانهم, or what their right hand possesses. Their back in the days, this practice was there, which is slave girls, because they're technically your possessions. So that's why they can be used that way as well. فإنهم غير ملوبين, then those people are not to be blamed. فمن ابتغى وراء ذلك, and whoever seeks anything beyond that, فأولئك هم العادون, that they are the ones who are the transgressors. They crossed the limit, they crossed the boundary, they have crossed the red line Allah has placed for them. والذين هم لأماناتهم وعهدهم راعون, and those who are, when it comes to their trust and their promises, they're very attentive of that. They fulfill their promises and the trust that they give to people. Whether you're doing business with people or whether someone lends you something and they forgot about it, you should tell them that I haven't. Just because someone forgot about something that they have doesn't give us the right to keep those things, correct? And the last thing is again, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَىٰ صَلَوَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ. Again, the list ends with salah. And those who maintain, those who are protective, those who are punctual of the salah, and they pray it on time. Especially in Ramadan, right? We're supposed to be praying all the time, but in Ramadan especially, we're fasting the whole day, but if we're sleeping through some salahs, then, kind of defeats the purpose. You're doing one fard, we're leaving out another fard, right? So salah is probably one of the things that is difficult for many of us to do, especially with jobs and our careers and our workplace and whatnot. Most employers and most workplaces, they understand the importance of praying, and they'll give you time to pray, right? Even if they don't give you time, the break that you get, try to put it in a place where you can optimize and make the best out of that 15-20 minute break that you get. I know this person, they work in the healthcare profession, and they quit their job amid this crisis just about a month ago because their employer didn't let them pray, or you don't get the time to pray or something like that. You always have to find things, find your way around. You talk to your employer one-on-one that, listen, I need just a 5-minute break. If it's a night shift, say you need 10 minutes at 4 o'clock for suhoor and to pray Isha, and then when Fajr time comes in, you pray your Fajr time. You pray your Fajr Salah. You always have to find a way around, right? So it's not like completely, let me just leave my Salah, forget about it, I'm not going to pray anymore. And at the same time, it's not like, let me just quit my job. You need to find a balance, right? To find a balance. If this job doesn't allow you, you've tried all your best, then, go and find a new job. But there's no way that we can say, forget about it, I'm done, I've tried my whole life, it just doesn't work out, it doesn't happen. That can't be the case. We can't stand in front of Allah Azza wa Jal on the day of judgment and say, Ya Allah, my employer didn't give me the time to pray. Or I didn't get the time to pray, I had to eat my lunch in my break time. It's not going to work, right? The first thing we'll be asked about on the day of judgment is your salah. You pass that question, then we proceed. That's the next thing. That's like your ID card on the door. Like, the guard is there and asking, where's your ID? You clear with that? All right, let's move on to the next stage. So salah should give importance to that. So أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ, they are the true inheritors. They are the true inheritors. What does that mean? Inherit. You inherit something from your parents, your father, your mother, your brother, whoever passes away. You inherit things from them. So Allah says, they are the inheritors. They will inherit what? الَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسِ يَا سَلَامْ. They will inherit Firdaus, the highest part of Jannah. Hum fiha khalidun. They will be there forever. They will be there forever. You do these things, Allah has given you a list. Make sure you do these things, and inshallah, guaranteed you will inherit Jannah. Now, how come the word inheritance is used? Why? Allah Azza wa Jalla said they will be ulaika humul muqimun, like they will become the residents of Jannah, or they will own Jannah, al-malikun, or yamlikun al-Jannah. Why saying that? Why? Because look, whenever you own something, whenever you buy something, or you become a partner with someone with something that you own, there can always be some problems. There can always be some question, or there can be some dispute about it, like, oh, I didn't sell it to you, or I sold you the wrong item, or there's some defect in this item, or someone else come and claim that, oh, this is mine, it's not yours. There can always be some sort of questions and problems. That's why we're supposed to keep our receipts. Receipts are important. But wiratha, inheritance, there's never any questions about that. No one can come and say, oh, your father's land that you got a share of, someone from the outside come and say that, oh, it's also mine, and I deserve some share from that as well. No one can come and ever say that. No one can take that right away from you. So similarly, Allah says, though inherits Jannah, then once they enter Jannah, no one can come and say, oh, you don't belong here, this is not your place, you got to get out. Eviction notice, yalla, tomorrow, if you don't, and I don't want to see you here tomorrow, the next week, they have a deadline. It's not going to be like that. They will be the inheritors of Al-Firdaus Al-A'la. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you ever ask Allah Azza wa Jalla for Jannah, then is Al-Firdaus Al-A'la. Ask for the highest part of Jannah. Allah is not bakhil. Allah is not stingy or miserly or frugal. Allah is Al-Ghani. You ask Allah Azza wa Jalla for the highest thing, you never know, Allah will give you that. Allah says, I am according to what my slave thinks of me. You think generously of Allah Azza wa Jalla, you think kindly of Allah Azza wa Jalla, that's how you will find Allah Azza wa Jalla to be. So have husnul dhan billah. Right? Have husnul dhan billah. Think good of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Or sometimes we may be doing a lot of things in our lifetime, a lot of good deeds, and try our best, and then say, or were those things even accepted from me? Or am I even a good person? Will I even make it? Yes, we're supposed to do good things and not forget about it, and not be haughty and proud about it. But at the same time, don't disregard all the good things that you've done and say, will they be, and be pessimistic that they're not going to be accepted, and I'm not a good person, and then that shouldn't be the case. Have husnul dhan with Allah Azza wa Jalla, that yes, inna Allah la yudi'u ajra al-muhsinin. Allah will not ever waste the ajr and the good deeds of a believer. You have done good in your life, have husnul dhan billah. Think good of Allah Azza wa Jalla. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ سُلَالَةٍ مِنْ طِينٍ. And then the following verses, Allah Azza wa Jalla talks about the origin and the inception and the conception of a human being, in the embryo, how they are created, how they were just a liquid once, and then they turn into a blood clot, and then they became a clinging clot, and then they became a piece of meat, and then there was bones that started generating in the womb, and then meat came in and adorned it and covered that bone, and then they became a whole human being. Such a miraculous thing that happened in the embryo of the mother, and the whole creation of mankind is such a miraculous thing. Can you just imagine inside of a woman's belly, all of these things are happening. The brain is forming, the heart is forming, there's a pulse, there's a beat, there's a heartbeat, the livers are being created, the lungs are being created, the bones are being created. Where does this all come from? It's just two water that's put there. That right there is a sign and a great qudra and might of Allah Azza wa Jalla for anyone that disbelieves in Allah Azza wa Jalla. Sometimes you just can't imagine, like, how do you deny all of these things? How do you deny what is the things that is happening inside of a person's body while they are being created? It's just pure stubbornness. That's the only thing you can say. It's just pure stubbornness. I feel like a lot of times people want to deny the existence of God because they don't want an authority over them, telling them what to do. Like, their whole life, they're being told that, look, at 18, you're free. Before 18, you have to have a guardian, you have to have a parent or something like that. And that thought of freedom and liberty takes us so far that when we reach 18, we're like, okay, my parents are not here, but why I still gotta pray every single day? Why I still gotta stay away from these things? My coworkers, my friends, my colleagues, they're all going out Friday night. Why am I being stopped from doing that? So I just, I feel like a lot of times these things are done because we don't want an authority figure above us, even though something inside us tells us that there has to be a being above, there has to be a divine being and a supreme being. But I just don't want to accept it because I don't want anyone telling me what to do. And otherwise, the evidence and the miracles and the proofs are right in front of you. سَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ. Allah says we will show them our signs in the horizons. Everywhere they'll be able to see. Just look at your own creation. Just look at the way you were created. How this verse tells us, right? It was just a sperm drop, a liquid, and after that, look at you, a huge person that you grew up to be. At 18, you're a grown man. أَلَمْ يَرَى الْإِنسَانُ أَنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ نُطْفَةٍ فَإِذَا هُوَ خَصِيمٌ مُبِينٌ. Don't mankind see how we just created from nutfa? Then when he grows up, he becomes a khasimun mubin, a clear adversary. He starts questioning about the existence of Allah Azza wa Jalla. He starts saying, oh, does God really exist? Who is he? What does he do? How come I can't see? If I don't see him, I don't believe in him. Look at him, right? Allah says that exactly, right? That he forgot that how he create. وَضَرَبَ لَنَا مَثَلًا وَنَسِيَ خَلْقًا. He gives us an example. He tries to rationale with us. He tries to be logical with us and gives us arguments, this and that. وَنَسِيَ خَلْقًا. And he forgot his own creation, how he was created. He forgot all of that. Look at you now. It's like when you have a disobedient and rebellious children, they grow up and they find their parents to be illiterate. Oh, you guys are from the village. You don't know this. You don't know that. Right? And then you start disregarding and start treating your parents like annoying pets. Like, get out of here. And then the mother comes and tells you one day that, hey, did you forget how I used to feed you? You were nothing. I used to change your diaper. You forgot how you came running into my hands when you were scared. You forgot how how happy you used to get when you used to see me pick you up from school. You forgot all of that, and now you're a grown-up man. You're making your own money. You're making your own living. You're married, and you have your wife and your kids, and you forgot all of that, and you dump your parents in the senior centers, and that's where they die in decay. Right? So Allah is saying, you were nothing when you were created, and now you come and you're bold and you're audacious and you start questioning Allah Azza wa Jalla. They say that there's no atheist in a sinking ship. When they see the ship is sinking, at that time everybody gets on their knees. لَإِنْ أَنْجَيْتَنَا مِنْ هَذِهِ لَنَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الشَّاكِرِينَ. They come to Allah, says that they say that in the ship, they say, Ya Allah, if you save us from this, we will get out of here and we'll be from the shakirin, from the grateful people. Then Allah says, فَلَمَّا نَجَّاهُمْ. When Allah saves them and He brings them to the land, إِذَا هُمْ يَبْغُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Then again they start doing the same thing. They forget Allah Azza wa Jal and they start transgressing and sinning against Allah Azza wa Jal. Right? Okay. And then Allah says, ثُمَّ إِنَّكُمْ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ لَمَيِّتُونَ. After all of this, you will die again. You will die. ثُمَّ إِنَّكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ تُبْعَثُونَ. And then you will be resurrected on the day of judgment again. And then you will be asked about all that you have done. Right? لَنَسْأَلَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. Allah says, فَوَرَبِّكَ لَنَسْأَلَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. By your Lord, we will ask every single one of them what they have done. Right? That is one of our articles of faith, وَالْبَعْثِ بَعْدَ الْمَوْتِ. Believing in the resurrections after death. Right? We all know of the incident of Uzair and his town, how Allah Azza wa Jal made him die, and then He resurrected him, his donkey, even the bones and all of those things, just to show them that Qiyamah will take place. Even in Surah Al-Kahf, the people that slept for 300 and something years, Allah did that. Why? To show them that Qiyamah will happen and will resurrect you, just like we resurrected you now, will resurrect you on the day of judgment. Right. And then in the following verses, Allah Azza wa Jalla reminds us of His blessings, how He has created different animals and trees, and how we eat from that. And then we go into the story of Nuh alayhi salam and how his people denied him, his message, and believing in the Day of Judgment. One of the things they said, hayhata hayhata lima tu'adun. Far away, far-fetched is what He promises you, that you will be resurrected on the day. أَيَعِدُكُمْ أَنَّكُمْ إِذَا مِتُّمْ وَكُنْتُمْ تُرَابًا وَعِظَامًا أَنَّكُمْ مُخْرَجُونَ. Does He promise you that once you die and you become turab, dust, وَعِظَام, and bones, أَنَّكُمْ مُخْرَجُونَ, that you will be resurrected on the Day of Judgment? هَيْهَاتَ لِمَا تُوعَدُونَ. Far away is what He's promising you. Don't believe in that. إن هي إلا حياتنا الدنيا. It's only our worldly life. نموت ونحيا. We will die and we will live. وما نحن بمبعوثين. And we're not going to be resurrected. Don't listen to this, guys. Bakwas. Like, it's like how people say, live life. YOLO. You only live once. Live life, you know. Just that one little thing in your mind can change your whole perspective of this world. You just live and die. Khalas. You live it, buddy. Don't worry about the hereafter. إن هو إلا رجل افترى على الله كذب. And then they go on and they say this guy is just a liar and he's just making your life harder. فأخذتهم صيحة. A scream, a loud scream came, and it destroyed all these people. And then we have more story of Musa alayhi salatu wassalam, and we'll just go skip right to the end of the surah. Allah says, He asks us a question, and it says that your whole life, you were worried about and arguing about whether you're going to be resurrected, whether you're going to be questioned. Like, حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءَ أَحَدَهُمُ الْمَوْتِ, until death comes to them, until they're in the last stage of their life. They say, رَبِّ ارْجِعُونِ, Ya Allah, take us back. ارْجِعُونِ, bring us back to the world. Why? لَعَلِّي أَعْمَلُ صَالِحًا, so that I can do good deeds. فِيمَا تَرَكْتُ, in the things that I have left behind. Allah says, no. Kalla, never, this will never happen. Your chance is done. وَمِن وَرَائِهِمْ بَرْزَخٌ إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ. And after they die, there will be barzakh. There will be a great barrier between them and the Day of Judgment, which is barzakh in our qabr. فَإِذَا نُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ, when the trumpet is blown, فَلَا أَنْسَابَ بَيْنَهُمْ, there will be no relationship between them. وَلَا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ, and they won't ask one another. Once the trumpet is blown, the Day of Judgment, يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ, people will be running away from their brother, from their mother, from their father, from their spouses. Everyone is running away from one another. The only thing that will benefit you, فَمَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ, whoever's scale of good deeds is heavy, فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ, they will be the ones that are successful. وَمَنْ خَفَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ, whoever's scale of good deeds is light, you don't find anything there, فَأُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُم, they're the ones that have lost themselves. فِي جَهَنَّمَ خَالِدُونَ, they will be in Jahannam forever. تَلْفَحُ وُجُوهَهُمُ النَّارِ, the fire will burn their faces. وَهُمْ فِيهَا كَالِحُونَ, and there they will be in there. They will have frowny smiles from there. They will have frowns and they will be sad in the Day of Judgment. The angels will ask them, أَلَمْ تَكُنْ آيَاتِي تُتْلَى عَلَيْكُمْ فَكُنْتُمْ بِهَا تُكَذِّبُونَ, weren't my verses and my signs recited to you and you denied those signs and you denied those verses? What happened now? Now you're trying to leave. Now you're right? There will be guards on the gates of Jahannam, right? That will be given the task to just stay there. They won't be able to hear. They won't be able to, have any emotional interaction with you. That, oh, you're crying and you'll be able to leave. That won't be the case there. Right? They will do whatever Allah asked them. So once they asked, they say, رَبَّنَا أَخْرِجْنَا مِنْهَا. They say, Allah, take us out from here, right? They will be said, قال اخسأوا فيها ولا تكلمون, go back in there, stay in there, ولا تكلمون, and don't say anything. Shh, zip it up. Right now, today, there's no cry and there's no begging, there's no amendments to make, there's no plea and appeal to make. Everything was in the dunya. Right now, be quiet, go back in there. That's where you belong. The message came to you in the day. فَاتَّخَذْتُمُ سِخْرِيًّا, you took them as a joke. You were joking about them. You were mocking them. You were saying, oh, look at this guy. Right? Alright, and then the end of the surah, أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ. Did you think that أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا, we created you for nothing, for abath, for joke? وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ, and you would never be resurrected and come back to us? You thought like that? Did you think this was going to happen? What happened today? فَتَعَالَى اللَّهُ الْمَلِكُ الْحَقِّ. So exalted is Allah, Al-Malik, the sovereign, Al-Haq, the true. لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ رَبُّ الْعَرْشِ الْكَرِيمِ. There is no God but Him, the Lord of the Arsh Al-Kareem, the noble throne. وَمَن يَدْعُ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ, and whoever calls besides Allah any other deity, لَا بُرْهَانَ لَهُ بِهِ, he doesn't have any proof for that deity. You worship someone and so on, and there's no proof for it. فَإِنَّمَا حِسَابُهُ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِ, then his account will be with Allah Azza wa Jalla alone on the Day of Judgment. He will have to deal with Allah one-on-one. Imagine Allah says, I will deal with you and I will see you, right? إِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ, verily the disbelievers will never succeed. And the last verse is وَقُلْ رَبِّ اغْفِرْ وَارْحَمْ وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الرَّاحِمِينَ, and say that, Ya Allah, forgive me and have mercy upon me, because you are indeed the best of all those who are merciful. Allah is the Arham al-Rahimin, the most merciful of all the merciful ones. You know, we will enter Jannah only by the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jalla. If Allah doesn't have mercy upon us, no matter how much good deeds we do, we will never enter Jannah. So that's why Allah said, forgive me for my shortcomings, warham, and have mercy on me. Forgive me because why? If Allah doesn't forgive and the sins we do, He holds us accountable for our sins, there's no way we're going to enter Jannah. And at the same time, our deeds are not enough. The good deeds that we do, Allah must have mercy upon us. So warham ya Rabb, have mercy upon us, Ya Allah. Wa anta khayrul rahimin, you're the best. So you might ask that, how come, why are we encouraged to do good deeds if it's only just the rahmah of Allah Azza wa Jal? Because once we enter Jannah, our level and our rank in Jannah is based on the good deeds that we have done. That is based on our good deeds. Alright, and every time we enter Jannah, we will just wish, and we see someone above us, we will wish that that person was us, and we wish that we were just one level higher. So inshallah, we'll end here. Next is Surah An-Nur. Surah An-Nur is about the people who accuse one another of zina and fornication and what should be done in that case. A lot of fiqh masail that goes into detail. We won't have the time to get into it now. But inshallah, tomorrow we'll continue from Surah Al-Furqan, which is the next verse. But for today, we'll stop here, inshallah. I hope this was beneficial for you, for me, and all the hearers. Allah Azza wa Jalla give me and all of us a tawfiq. Accept our a'mal, the good deeds that we have done in the month of Ramadan, our tilawah, our qiyam, our sujood, our ruku', our sadaqat, and the remaining days. May Allah Azza wa Jalla give us the tawfiq to avail them, to take advantage of them. And may Allah Azza wa Jalla forgive and accept all of us. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.